Okay, welcome everyone to another mitzvah on the Sefer Hamitzvos of the Rambam. Now, I'm sorry I wasn't doing shiurim the last month and a half or even 2 months. I'm going to try starting again every week to do one mitzvah be'ezras Hashem. I'm not committing myself to this, but that's what I have in mind to do. I don't know if I'll manage, we'll see. But in any case, so if you like these shiurim, please like and subscribe and share it to anyone else that you think might be interested. Okay, so let's get right into it. So first we're going to start with the last week's question, which was a question on the mitzvah of leket, which was what should a person do if there's leket left in his field after the harvest and he needs to get the field ready for planting. So let me just bring that up one more time. So you could see the question over here. So basically, someone has a field and the poor people still didn't come, and it's not talking about in a situation that it took them so long to come to pick up the leket that it's already considered hefker, like we'll see in the 8th chapter of Peah. Well, I don't know if we'll see, but it's mentioned in the 8th chapter of Peah that there's situations where you wait a certain amount of time and the poor people don't come, then it becomes hefker. But we're not talking about that situation. He wants to plant something and whatever, he needs to water early, and poor people still didn't come straight away. He needs to water the field. So he has a choice. Does he water the field and then destroy the leket, or does he just have to leave the field and wait till the poor people come and then lose his crop, so lose what he's planning on planting? And so that's what the question is. So let's start with the Mishnah, with the Yerushalmi. Well, first the Mishnah, Perek Hey of Peah, Mishnah. Well, in the Yerushalmi Tzlach Gimel, I think it's Mishnah Hey. So the Mishnah says, now the way Rav Chaim Kanievsky explains this is you don't water your field b'tofiach, meaning that you water, soak it where it's a tefach. Tefach, not tefach over here, but tefach means it's soaked basically. Div Rabbi Meir, he holds you can't soak your field when the leket's over there. V'chachamim matir mipnei she'ev, chachamim permit because there's a way of doing it. It's possible. So the way Rav Chaim Kanievsky explains, again, we're going to go according to that, is that it's possible. Why is it possible? Because you could pick up the leket and put it on the side, and then you're not ruining the leket, and you're going to manage to take care of your field. So that's what the Mishnah says. Now the Yerushalmi comes on and brings a braysa. Tani, it says in the braysa, Hamar betzadeo ad shelo yard ani l'seicha, im hezek meruba al shel ani mutar ve'im hezek ani meruba al shelo aser. So someone who wants to, hamarbetz means to water. He's watering his field, achla yard ani l'seicha, until a poor person didn't go into it before the poor people came to take stuff. Im hazek meruba al shel ani, if he doesn't water the field, in a situation that if he doesn't water the field, his damage is going to be worse than that of the poor person's. Like the leket getting ruined is going to be less of a damage, or maybe it's not going to get ruined a lot, or even if it gets ruined completely, his damage of not watering is going to be worse. The mutar, then it's permitted. Ve'im hezek ani meruba al shalai aser. But if the damage of the poor person is going to be worse than his, then he's not allowed to, even though it's going to damage him. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, so that's the Tanakama or the Chachamim. Rabbi Yehuda Omer ben kach manichin al hagadar va'ani ba v'naitel eshalai. So Rabbi Yehuda says, doesn't matter what, it doesn't matter, it's in any situation, it doesn't matter if you're going to have more of a damage or the poor people are going to have more of a damage. In both situations, you don't water it unless you take the leket and put it on the side. So now how to put the Mishnah and the Bryce exactly together, I'm not going to go into too much right now, but let's go on the Rambam, and it will give us something to think about, the way the Rambam paskins over here. So let's see the Rambam in Hilchos Matanos and Zraim Hilchos Matanos Anim, Perek chapter 4, Halacha Ches, Halacha 8. So the Rambam says, if he needed to water his field, l'rabetz, remember we said, is to water the field. So hutrach lerabetz es sadeh. He needed to water his field. Kodem sheyelaktu ha'anim leket sheba. Before the poor people managed to pick up the leket that fell in it. Now, but right. So before. If his damage is worse than the leket getting ruined, meaning he's right, like we mentioned the Bryce. So basically, saying what the Bryce has said, that if his damage is worse, al shelef said leket mutar l'rabetz, you're allowed to be merabetz, he's allowed to water his field, even though the leket's there. V'imef said the leket meruba, but if the leket, which means the poor people, because the leket is for the poor people, if the leket's damage is going to be worse, then V'imef said leket meruba hefsedoi asur l'rabetz, then you're not allowed to water it. Ve'im kibetz kol haleket, so then you're not allowed to water it. So that's ve'im kibetz kol haleket. If he gathered all the leket together, he gathered it up and he put it ve'nicho ala gadar, and he put it on the fence ad shevo ha'ani, until the poor people come ve'itlandu to take it. That's the right way. That's the righteous way of doing it. So the Rambam paskins that we'll summarize it basically according to the Rambam. We'll summarize the mitzvah based off of the Rambam over here. So to summarize it, someone who needs to soak his field before the poor people collect the gleanings or leket may do so, providing that his loss will be worse than that of the poor people. But the praiseworthy thing to do is to collect the leket and set them at the side of the field, to put them on the side of the field. Like the Rambam says, that's a praiseworthy thing to do. If not, if you don't do that, so then it depends if you don't want to do that, or it's going to be a lot of work for you to do that, so it depends who is gonna lose out more. If he's gonna lose out more, then he's allowed to. If the poor people are gonna lose out more, then he's not allowed to. Okay, so now we're gonna start this Sefer Mitzvah of the Rambam, Mitzvah Kuf Kaf Beis 122. So let's start the Rambam. So the Rambam says, Hamitzvah Hakuf Kaf Beis Hi shetzivanu la'aniach ha'omer hashikchah vehu ha'moitz lev ha'shechachta omer basadeh. So Mitzvah 122 is that he commanded us to leave a bundle that was left behind. He forgot it behind. Vehu ha'moitz, like it said in the pasuk, v'shechachta omer basadeh. We'll go through the psukim in just a minute, but he forgot it omer basadeh. V'shechachta omer basadeh lo yisashuv lekachta. You shouldn't return to take it. Lager le'yasam ve'almana yesh, leave it for the ger and the yasam and the almana, for the poor, for the convert, to the orphan and the widow, which all mean over here poor people. Hinei because usually they're poor, so it's just dibra kasu b'hoived, the pasuk speaking about, the Torah speaking about a situation, normal situation. Hinei amro yihiyehu hatzivoy lahanicha vehu ha. When it's in the pasuk like it should be, that's a positive commandment. Like it says in leket upea, it says you should leave them, some positive commandment. So in other words, the Rambam's addressing, why doesn't it say over here, if it's a positive commandment, why doesn't it say you should leave it? So the Rambam's saying the one word of yihiyeh doesn't mean over here that it just should so happen to be, but it's giving us a commandment that it should be, meaning we should make it like that. Similar to ta'azar v'sam, leave them. That you should make it, you should leave it, you shouldn't return to take it, you should leave it as shikchah. Which is interesting. Yeah, okay, whatever, we won't get into that. Ta'azar v'sam shehu aseh k'moshe is a positive commandment, like we explained over there. V'zois eina noheges min haTorah ela ba'aretz, and the Torah, it's only noeg in Eretz Yisrael, not in Chutz La'aretz. Now in Syria we have a din, like in general Syria, which by the way it's coming up nowadays, but that usually we're more mekel in Syria. We go like the more kula, more lenient shita, because in this subject it's only midarban over there. But okay. And these the laws of this mitzvah are explained in Mesachtas Peah. So now Amrim, the Mishnayos say they can't be too big. They can't be out of proportion Omer, because then it's it has to be like a normal size Omer, which there are definitions, of course, on what this is, and it can't be 2 Omrim of shikchah. If it's already 3, it's not considered shikchah, because it's like it's not considered an individual anymore. It's considered a group, and then it's not shikchah. That's just a few small details on this. Okay, so now we're going to go to the psukim over here. So the pasuk says in Parshat Kitzur, Ki tiktzor ketzilcha b'sadecha, when you reap your harvest in your field, v'shachachta ayar b'sadeh, and you forget a bundle in the field. You forget a bundle of wheat in the field. You shouldn't return to take it. Lager le'asam v'amana yeh. You should not turn back to take it. It shall be for the prostyle, for the orphan, and for the widow, which, of course, like we mentioned, means for poor people. And then it continues. So Hashem, God will bless you in all your handiwork. And yeah, so that's the mitzvah. That's the psukim over here. Now, our question that's going to be on this mitzvah is like this: Does shikchah only apply to bundles or also to stalks that are still attached to the ground? If you still have a bunch of wheat attached to the ground that he cut, and then he basically cut all around, and then he looks back and he sees there's still a little area where he left the wheat and it's not attached to the ground. Is that also considered shikchah? That's the question. Now we know that by leket there is such a thing. If there's an individual stock left and he already went on, then it's considered leket. There's shikchah leket in talush, when it's already detached, when it fell down, but there's even b'mechubar. So the question is, in shikchah, is there also the same thing anyway? So that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching, and Be'ezras Hashem, next week I'll try to, I won't promise, but I'll try Be'ezras Hashem to come back with the next mitzvah, well, the answer to this mitzvah, to the question of this mitzvah, and next mitzvah, the positive mitzvah of Kuf Kaf Gimel 123. Thank you for watching.